it's Vicky from Free From Limits again today with your question to ponder on. So today I'd like you to think about what thought is and whether you are your thoughts, and indeed whether you control your thoughts. So this is something that I had literally not even considered up until I came across a teacher of what's called the 3 principles a number of years ago, and they got me to start looking at what thought was. And it was the most interesting and enlightening thing I had ever done. So I want to share that experience with you today, if you are open to it. So thoughts. Let's start with what thoughts are. So to me, they look like they are just kind of bursts of activity in our mind. Maybe like puffs of energy that come through our mind. And it looks to me like I don't have any control over those thoughts. Like the thoughts pop into my head. Like I had the thought 5 minutes ago, oh, I must record the video with the question of the day. Or, oh, I fancy a cup of tea. Or, oh, I must email this so-and-so person. Or I must make a note of something. And these thoughts just, it seems to me like they pop into my head. I don't put them there deliberately. There are times when I deliberately think. So if I'm going to sit down and write a shopping list, for example, then I will use my ability to think about what meals I'm going to create that week and what food I need to buy. So that's what Sydney Banks, who kind of expressed the 3 principles, that's what he would describe as a, can't remember his exact words, but a useful way to use thought. But we have this amazing ability to think, and there are really useful things we can do with it. So we can plan holidays, we can think about what Christmas presents we might want to buy people, we can think about what food we're going to eat and what ingredients we need to make it, and all those kinds of things. They are incredibly useful and amazing ways that thought helps us and makes us different, separates us out, I guess, from other animals, other alive things. But the problem is that it seems to me is when we believe every thought that we have. So if we go back to the nature of thought, that unless we're sitting and actually thinking specifically about something, trying to plan something, then thoughts, as I say, pop into our heads, right? And have a look at this for yourself. I really encourage you to see whether this is true. That you don't place the thoughts in your head, that you just get random thoughts. And sometimes they're really random. Like for me, I can have like a random thought when I'm driving, like, oh my God, I'm going to crash. Or what happens if I drive into that car? Or what happens if I drove into that hedge? Or like really weird, crazy thoughts come into my head. And that's normal. It's like we all have crazy random thoughts. They just pop in our heads, and if we don't pay any attention to them, then they disappear again. They're replaced by something else. I guess when we get into trouble is when we believe those thoughts. So if I were to believe the thought that I might drive off the road or I might crash into a car, and I really believe that that could happen and that would happen, then obviously I wouldn't drive and I would develop a fear of driving. I would understandably not want to drive. Or in my case, I had spent a lifetime of listening to thoughts in my head that I wasn't good enough, that I was inferior to other people, that I was stupid, that I did ridiculous things. Why would I do this? Why would I do that? That really vicious, accusatory sound, which is basically thoughts that are popping into your head that you pay attention to. And I paid attention to them. I believed them. I thought they were who I was. I thought that they were directions for my life. and they were right here, right in front of my eyes. You know, you're stupid, why would you do that? Don't do that again. Don't bother to do this because someone else is doing it better. All those kinds of thoughts were like right here, right in front of my eyes, forefront of my hearing. And so I followed them and I didn't do things. And when somebody told me that to consider the possibility, I guess, not told me, but to consider the possibility that we don't have to listen to them, that we don't have to pay any attention, we don't have to believe those thoughts that pop into our head, that they are just puffs of energy of equal importance to one another. So the thought, oh, I must make some lunch, is of equal importance as I feel really dreadful and I shouldn't bother to talk to anyone because I'm so hopeless. Like until we actually look at that thought, until we believe that thought, then it's just a thought. It will just go on by. Same as the thought that I might have, what would happen if I drove into that car? Like, I don't listen to that. It's crazy. Like, why would I listen to that? I kind of see it and kind of go, what was that about? Like, clearly I'm not going to listen to that. But people do listen to their thoughts and they do bad things. If you have a thought, I want to hurt that person, and you believe that that thought is an instruction for you, then you will go and hurt people. When we realise what the nature of thought, that it's just this puff of energy that flows through us and that unless we pay attention to it will disappear and be replaced by another thought, then we can be dragged all over the place by our thinking. We can be pushed from pillar to post and battered and dragged around, believing that we are those thoughts and that those thoughts are us and to contain information for us, for our lives. So what I really invite you to do today is just to have a look at that for yourself. How do thoughts get into your head? The random thoughts that just pop in and out. And bear in mind here that scientists believe we have around 60,000 thoughts a day, and yet I'm probably aware of about 20. So there's thousands of thoughts that we have in a day that we pay no attention to. We don't even notice that they just literally pop in and out and they're gone. And then there's certain thoughts that look really juicy, that look like they have meaning, that they contain information for us, and we look at them and we add to them and we create suffering through them. So play around with this idea that thoughts are just puffs of energy until we make them into something bigger. See whether that's true. And then consider the possibility that we are not our thoughts. That our thoughts are just like a radio playing in the background. Like it's almost like we're born with a radio built into us. And it creates noise. There's noise that we hear. But it's just a radio. It's not us. We can hear it. We can hear the noise of the thoughts. We can hear that voice that tells us we should or shouldn't be doing things, or that we can and can't do things, or whatever it might be for you. But if you consider it's just a radio, and you don't have to tune into it, you can just ignore it. And when we tune into it and it makes us feel bad, then that's the sign to tune out, to come back to the present moment, to focus on what's in front of us, to go and make the cup of tea, to go and create some painting or drawing or go for a walk or whatever it is that occurs to us in that moment to do. We don't have to be stuck. We don't have to be stuck following our thinking. We can, when we notice that we're feeling bad through following certain thoughts, we can We can allow them to pass. We can allow them to pass by. There's nothing we need to do, but to understand that one thought will be replaced by another thought when we allow it to be, when we let it go, when we see the nature of thought, that it just flows through us. So I don't really want to make this any longer, but if you've listened to this and you think, I have no idea what she's talking about, then please reach out to me. I would love to have a chat with you about it. This has completely transformed my life, having gone from someone who thought I was my thinking and had to believe everything that was contained within there, within my mind, within that noise, to being able to see that noise can be there, but I don't have to pay attention to it. And when I don't pay attention to it, I'm free to do whatever I want to do. So have a little ponder over that and get in touch if you would like to explore it further. Until tomorrow, bye.